Hello and welcome to a new video. I'm Susanne from Susie's Journal Adventure, and since Christmas is really near, I want to make some super fun mixed media Christmas greeting cards today. So just for your information, I somehow lost the audio footage for this video. So what you hear in this first part of the video is voiceover Susanne, and in the second part of the video you will hear the original audio. As you can see in the video, I already gathered some papers that I want to use, and the idea is I want to at first create a background, a pretty neutral background, by gluing down paper scraps from these papers onto a piece of cardboard. And that way I am going to create a masterboard that I will later on cut down to postcard size, and that I will then use as the background for a focal point that I want to add in the second step. If you know me, you already know that I work in baby steps. That means I don't know what the greeting cards will look like in the end when I start creating right now. So my first step is really to just create the background, and then I will decide what I want to do next. I mean, in this case, for this video, I already have a rough idea in my head. I want to use fabric scraps, that's for sure, for this project, but I don't know which colors I want to use and what exactly the outcome has to look like. So let's start creating. And what you see here is a piece of packaging. This is normal cardboard that I want to use as the background for the masterboard. And I think this is perfect because the backside is white. And so I already have the perfect background for my writing. So let me show you the papers that I picked. I want to go pretty neutral for the background. I have some book pages, some vintage architectural paper, wrapping paper, and yeah, so I have a nice mixture of some neutral colors for the background. For gluing down the paper scraps on this piece of cardboard, I'm going to use my matte gel medium. That's the perfect collage medium, as I can easily apply a larger amount of the glue with a brush in really no time. And additionally, I can later on seal the surface with this medium as well. So I'm now tearing all my papers that I selected, and I want to have rectangular shapes. Why rectangular shapes? That's just, I guess, personal preference. So you can, of course, tear them into any shapes that you like, but rectangular shapes are just the shapes that I prefer when it comes to masterboards. So here I started applying the glue, and I realized this was a fail. Because obviously I want to glue down the papers on the other side of the packaging, because I want to use the white blank side as the writing spot for my Christmas greetings. I want my paper scraps to be glued down pretty, regularly, if that's the right word. I mean, I'm not going very crazy with the order of the paper scraps. I always stick to a certain pattern. I want to have them glued down horizontally and vertically, but not diagonally. I guess you can see what I mean. And yeah, that's just the way that I work and that I want my masterboards to look like in the end. You can do, of course, whatever you feel drawn to. As you can see, I don't want the text on the book pages to all be in the same direction. I want to have a variation because I think that this adds to the interest of the masterboard. And in the end, you can see me here going over with a matte gel medium over the whole masterboard to seal the paper scraps a little bit. When I was finished gluing down the paper scraps, I then decided to add a layer of white gesso. And this is a really cheap white gesso that I have in my stash for years. This is perfect for such a project because what the white gesso does is it blends the browns of the paper scraps even more into the background. And yeah, you could also use, of course, white acrylic paint, for example, but the white gesso here is more translucent, and especially because it is a cheap white gesso, I have more control of, how translucent I want it to be. For spreading the gesso, I'm using this silicone brush. I love this tool so much. I use it so often. It's a perfect tool for me to get rid of the fear of the white page. When I open a art journal, for example, you have in no time a grungy, beautiful background by just applying some acrylics with this tool. So yeah, that's one of my favorite tools ever. Okay, this is nearly completely dry, and this can dry even better while I'm preparing the next step. I went through my stash of fabrics and fabric scraps, and I can tell you this took me a while because my fabric stash is huge. I used to sew a lot some years ago, so I still have a lot of fabric, and I must admit I'm still buying new fabric. And I want to use some of them up for the greeting cards, and the idea is to have some kind of fabric Christmas trees in the end as the focal point on the greeting cards. But we need to do some steps before we even have the idea of a Christmas tree. So let me grab some parchment paper. So this is white normal parchment paper, and I have this double-sided tape. And I will bring some of the tape down here. This is really sticky. This is a pretty good tape, but yeah, this should work. I hope so. This should be enough for the moment. Okay, and now I want to tear fabric strips from these leftover pieces here. Since this is cotton, you can easily tear the strips. And what I love is you have these fabric threads, and this gives a nice grunge. And as you can see, I have a variation in the width of the fabric strips. So as you can see, I stick to a certain color theme, but that was a decision that I made while I was tearing the fabric. And it turned out, obviously, that I want to have only blacks, whites and pink shades. Let me quickly explain what I want to do next. I will now remove the paper from the top of the sticky tape, And then I will stick down the fabric scraps on the tape. And I will do this, you know, a little bit in a wonky way, and I will alternate, of course, the colors. And then I will have the whole surface covered with my fabric. And then I want to cut out some Christmas trees that I will later on glue onto my greeting cards. So you get the rough idea. And so let's go on. I will now remove the paper. I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but this is a translucent double-sided tape. I bought it online. If you're interested, I can try to put the link to the tape down for you in the description box. And I will now just bring down the fabric. This sticks immediately. And as you can see, the fabric strips here are overlapping, and obviously this is not glued down, and this creates a nice texture and you just want to touch it. This is so sticky. Here, there is no more tape here, so I will stop here. So I think I will fill these gaps here, otherwise this is some kind of, you know, this is somehow wasted, I have the feeling. Look at this yumminess. I love it. Okay, I just cut out this Christmas tree, and you know, this is just a really fun and simple shape. So the measurements are approximately 10 centimeters in height and 7 centimeters in width. And I think this is a great size because later on I want my postcards to be approximately 10 by 15 centimeters. So this is the usual postcard size. And yeah, so this is perfect. And you can already imagine what I want to do next. I want to just cut out this Christmas tree from this you know, fabric masterboard, if you want to call it like so. And I'm really trying to not overthink and to let, you know, coincidence decide how my Christmas tree looks like in the end. As you can see, I'm not measuring at all. And I don't care if my trees are wonky in the end, you know. You could even say I want them to be a little bit wonky. This is already so much fun, isn't it? And I won't throw these scraps away. I can use them in my journals, of course. So I think you get the idea, and I will go on. I will cut out some more Christmas trees and then I'll be right back. I cut out these 4 Christmas trees. They are so fun. And I still have this left. So you could obviously cut out any other shapes you like. Stars would look great, or Christmas ornaments. So yeah, feel free to cut out whatever you like. And I mean, I won't throw this away. This is a great piece for other projects. So we have our background. I will now cut it down to size. I want to have approximately 10 by 15 centimeters. I won't throw these leftover pieces away. Of course, I won't throw them away. They are great as starting points for tags, for belly bands, for pockets. Yeah, whatever you can imagine. Okay, now I have 5 postcards, and they are all approximately 10 by 15. This is, 9 by 15. This is a little bit smaller, but yeah, they are all suitable for this size of the Christmas tree. This is what it looks like now. Let me now think about it. What does it need? I would like to sew around, but I'm a little bit afraid of destroying my sewing needle when I sew through this sticky, very, very sticky tape. But I think I have to be brave. And if I sew through the Christmas tree, and I think also around the postcard, we will see the stitching here. And I think I don't like that. So I guess I have to back it with another piece of paper, but that's okay. We can handle that. So I will now remove the paper from the tape. That's tricky. I hate this. And obviously we don't want to remove the tape. We just want to remove the paper. Oh my gosh. Okay, I won't do that. This wrecks my nerves. I can't handle that. So what I will do now, that works perfect as well, is I will just glue down these Christmas trees with my glue. I'm using my art glitter glue. And the glue doesn't have to be everywhere because I will sew around the trees anyways. Can you see that? I love this thread so much. This is so messy. So I will now sew around the Christmas tree with a black thread. Then I will glue a piece of paper on the back side. And then I will sew around the card again. So in the end, we can only see the thread here around the edge of the card. Okay, this is what they look like. And this is the back. So you can only see the stitching here and not the stitching from around the Christmas tree. Usually I go around my projects at least twice with my sewing machine, but for this, for these cards, I decided to go around only once because I think there is already a lot going on here, and I think that would have been too much. And I think I won't trim the threads. I love them so much. Love the texture, and you just want to touch it. So for the finishing touches, I want to add Merry Christmas, and I have this, I don't know, embossing thing that cost me just, I don't know, $3 or $4. So this is so much fun. And you can emboss the text on this tape. This is self-adhesive, and I will cut this down and glue it onto the cards. Here are the finished cards. There is so much texture here, I really like that. And the embossed text adds even more to the interest. Love the contrast between the background and the pink and the black, and all the threads are so much fun. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you feel inspired. If you haven't already, I would be really happy if you would subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to click the bell so that you get all the notifications when I upload a new video. And have a lovely day, and see you next time. Bye!